Good afternoon. This is Laura Lee Collet, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I welcome you today and appreciate you watching. I have some tricks to show you today, and we're going to get started in just a minute. But first, I am so excited. Tomorrow, I am going with my friend Tracy to Lafayette, and then we're driving over Saturday to the IKEA store in Houston, and I'm going to get my bookshelf and it's called a Kallax system or series that has 4 cubby holes and then 4x4, so there's 16 cubby holes, and I'm going to get all my paper organized. And so I'm getting those 2 things for sure, and maybe some other goodies. And coming back Sunday and Monday, I get ready to leave for the Thanksgiving holidays. So we will not have a live next week since it's Thanksgiving Day, but I'll be back the following week. And I'm headed for God's country. I'm going to Colorado to see my cousin and her husband in Durango, and I am super excited. Then, sometime during that week, Stampin' Storage, which I think I mentioned my ribbon holders, my ink holders, punches, those units came from Stampin' Storage. And I am an affiliate. If you decide you want to take a look or you want to order something, I would appreciate you going to stampinatthebirdnest.com, and on the right hand side you'll find a little badge for Stampin' Storage. It helps me out and it doesn't change the price of what you're ordering. So take a look at that. And they are having a huge Black Friday sale. So I think it's going to be all week. I'm waiting to get my email, but if you get on their email list, you'll see it. Okay, I hope all of you are well and planning something sort of special for your Thanksgiving holiday. This is going to be a very different holiday season this year, but I still think we can be with our loved ones, whether it's by Zoom or some other means, even maybe a few face-to-face, and still celebrate the holidays and have a wonderful time. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna fix my camera so that you can see what's going on and won't have to read it backwards, sideways, or upside down. So I'm waiting just 1 second to make sure that you can see that. Okay, and I'm going to tilt you just a little bit more. Okay, this is the card I selected for today. If you tuned in last week, we did this card. We used the embossing folder called Evergreen Forest, and I'm using that today. And so this kind of, to me, is a more casual card, where this one is really an elegant looking special Christmas card. And y'all, it is so simple. I'm using what we call tone on tone, so that the layer is that's very vanilla, is going on top of the card base, which is very vanilla. So let me show you what we're going to be using, and let me show you where I case this card, except for the one in the catalog is square, which I love square cards, but I wanted to just send it in the regular envelopes, and so I made it a 5.5 by 4.25 card, which is your standard card that we usually use. So this is on page 35 of the winter catalog. And if you don't have one and need it, please let me know and I'll get you one in the mail right away. So on this page, the stamp set we're going to be using is For Unto Us. And it has some wonderful sayings for Christmas. We're going to be using the Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and then I've got one selected we'll put on the inside of the card. But on this page 35, you can see the stamp set along with the Evergreen Forest embossing folder. And then if you flip over to page 45, you can see the brushed metallic 12 by 12 cardstock. And that's what I'm using for the panel down the front. It comes in 3 colors, the brass, the copper, and the gold. And so I have cut this. As I mentioned, your very vanilla cardstock is going to be cut at 5.5. I do this every time. 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25. And then you have your 4 by 5.25 layer that's going to go on top. I cut the metallic cardstock at 1.25, and it's at the length is 5.25. And I didn't show you where to find the sequins. Now you could use the metallic pearls. You could use, rhinestones, anything that you really wanted on the card. But I had, years ago, we came out with different colors of sequins, and I swear there must be 5 yards here, and I wanted to use them. So if you order some, you won't get it like this, but you'll get 4 different colors. So over on, let's see where it is. Come on now, page, oh, I still didn't get it. There it is. It's over on a Valentine page. It's called Sequins for Everything. They come in green, metallic, orange, and red. So if you get some of those, you can use them the rest of the year too. So, enough about that. So along with your cardstock, you're also going to need a scrap big enough for your sentiment there. And I wanted to tell you, I used, if you happen to have a gold ink pad or a copper ink pad, that would work well just to stamp it. But I'm going to show you how I emboss this today. And I just think it really makes the card pop. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the Simply Scored. I usually have my cards already scored, and I don't think I have talked to you about this. Maybe I did. But anyway, it'll be a repeat if I have. The Simply Scored is something I use for every single card I make, because that's how I get the nice line down the center so that you can fold it neatly. And the stylus that comes with it, and it has a little home right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right here, so that you don't lose it. And it has a small end and a large end. The small end is what I use for scoring cardstock. The larger end is for DSP. You don't want it to go quite as deep because the Designer Series paper is thinner than your regular cardstock. So that way you can get a score line without cutting into your paper. Okay, I've marked it with a little tab. You get some tabs that you can set at different intervals, and there I have scored it. I'm putting my scoring tool back, and let me tell you what I am using. This is not just our regular very vanilla. For the card base, I am using our thick berry vanilla, and it is wonderful. I have just recently started using that, and it really makes an elegant feel to your card and everything. Okay, I'm going to set that aside with the envelope. And the first thing I'm going to do, now you could do this two ways, but I'm showing you the simple way. I am going to go ahead and adhere my metallic piece down the middle. I'm leaving about, a half inch or so, and I'm putting that there. Now, we're going to send this through with the embossing folder through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I've gone back and forth on how it looks, and I don't think there's enough difference to tell. The first time I did it, I put the cardstock in, and then I marked where the tree was and added, then did the metallic piece separately. But that's a lot of trouble, and you have to be sure that you've lined it up. And so anyway, this is the easy way to do it. And I'm going to raise my camera up again so that hopefully you can see this, if I can get it on. I think my strength, was last time I tried to do this. Okay. I'll work on that for next week. So, you're not going to see how I am sending this through, but I'll tell you. I'm lining it up. Now, again, pay attention to your embossed images. They go up and down sideways, where you would think it would go this way. So you're going to put your cardstock in sideways and line it up with the black line right there, and that'll make it straight. And then you can see if you want it lower to show a little more, but I think that's going to be fine. I am using for the embossing, we're going to use plate 1. Put your sandwich filling in the middle, and then top it with plate 4. And that's how you use it in the Stampin' Emboss machine. So let me get that going. And as you can see, it just really came out pretty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to our card front. Because there's a lot of blank space on this piece of cardstock, I am going to put a little extra adhesive there, but it's not like some of the other embossing folders where it's so deep that you don't have enough of the layered cardstock touching the base. So I think this would be fine to use just your regular Stampin' Seal adhesive. Okay, so there we have it. And next, I want to show you how to emboss. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of me getting started in Stampin' Up, and my daughter-in-law announced as I walked in the door in Charlotte, North Carolina, that we were going to have a Stampin' Up party. I had no clue what that was, but we made our list, and the poor demonstrator that came over, she just about showed us all her tricks. And finally she said, I gotta go, I have a babysitter at home. So, but one of the things we wanted to know about was the embossing. So, you can either use craft ink or you can use a Versamark pad, which is what I have right here. So you're going to ink up. Oh, and I forgot my embossing buddy, and I haven't seen it since I moved. So we're going to pretend like I patted my embossing buddy, which keeps the static off and only lets the powder go where it's supposed to. And it's hard to see, but you might be able to see the imprint there. Then, and I'm going to put, I have a silicone mat that I'm going to put down because the powder, it's messy. There's no two ways about it. And you can, I'm even going to take it towards the floor before I blow it all off and heat set it. So there's your sentiment, and I've dusted off the ones I don't want to show. Now, this is a good tip that I learned from my upline ginger. Instead of doing this one at a time, you can still do it assembly line. So what I do when I have a whole bunch of cards to do, I'll go ahead and stamp, say 5 at a time with the Versamark. Then cover it with powder and set those aside. And go ahead and do 5 more, and then heat emboss them all at the same time. As long as it's in the sticky Versamark, the powder will stay on and you can heat it up. So that's a little time saver there. And then you have your heat tool. Now y'all, this is an antique. I've had this one since I first got in. And I'm gonna heat it up just a little bit. And like I said, I'm blowing some of the stuff that didn't stick on the floor. But the thing about this, this is probably one of my favorite techniques, is that you can just see the embossing powder melting as you wave your tool. And be careful because it does get hot. And then what I'll do is put it up to the light. Okay, and I can tell, I don't know if you can see it or not, but right down here it isn't melted. The rest of it is. So then just heat it up again. And there it goes. Isn't that like magic? I just love it. Okay, good enough. You can scorch your paper, so do it until it's all shiny and no dull marks, but don't overdo it. Okay, so I'm going to move this. And again, I'm going to be cutting this with the Stamp Emboss machine, and I'll bring this over this time. I am using the stitched shaped dies. This is a great set of dies. I use it all the time. And it has circles, ovals, and the squares. And I'm using the third, here it is, the third circle from the center. Now you're going to make a traditional sandwich this time. You've got plate 1, plate 2, plate 3. Then I'm going to put down my little thing right there. Make sure it stays in place. Okay. Then you come back with another plate 3. And there you go. So, okay. So there you have it. Isn't that pretty? Now all you need to do is get some, oh, one thing about the Versamark pad, since it's not our stamp pads, you need to turn it upside down so that it'll stay juicy. Okay, I'm going to use 4 dimensionals. Paula, I know you'll be so proud of me. She's my friend that likes to overdo it. But hey, to each his own. Everybody can do it the way they want. And I'm just going to put it where I want, press it down. And now the only thing that's missing are the sequins. So let's, okay, mine came on a string, so I've pulled some off. And what I'm going to do is take your pick tool, and I'm going to pull off some of the adhesive dots. Put them where I want my sequins to go. Now you can put your sequins on top, but I had a problem with them wanting to fly away. So I think I'll put that right there. And I'm going to use one more because I have lots and lots of sequins I'm going to try to get rid of on my card. This is going to be my Christmas card. I have one other that I'll show you later on. All right, then you can take this end of the Take Your Pick tool, stick it down. Just take your finger and mash it real good. I have used the Tombow liquid glue, but it seeps up through the hole, and sometimes it makes the front of your card sticky. So I've tried using this, and I'm having better luck with that. And you want to make sure you get it where you don't see the little glue dot underneath. Okay, so there you have today's card. Oh, I'm not finished. What am I saying? I'm about to wrap up. You're not through. Okay, we need to do let's see, where did I put it? We're going to put the, here it is. I showed you this trick a while back, and I'm going to show it to you again because it is just so cool. I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "May your heart be lifted in praise this Christmas for the wonderful gift of Jesus and the joy he brings to our lives." And I haven't put it together yet. So, if you remember, you're going to peel off the decal and put it on your block. Now, this one doesn't quite fit, so I'm going to do it sideways. And I'm putting that there, and then, oh y'all, I had to take my gel nails off. They were not getting along with my fingernails. So they're wonderful for special occasions, and I love the people that can do it all the time, but mine couldn't do it. Okay, I'm going to turn the rubber stamp over, and I'm going to use this so that I can line it up perfectly. Okay, so there you have it. Isn't that a cool trick? I just love that. It really helps in getting your stamps and decals lined up. Now, if you don't have a gold pad, I took a look at my trusty, I use this all the time too, pad, and tried to pick out a brown that would go well with the metallics, and I came up with crumb cake. And let me show you how it looks. Oh, and I have that cool little thing, grid card that I made. Well, it apparently got lost in the move. I wasn't able to find it. So I'm just going to use my grid lines here, and I'm going to ink up, and I want to make sure it's inked up well enough. And I'm going to do my best to get this even, but this will be the inside of the card. Oops, and I got a little thing there, and it could have been a little bit darker. So anyway, mistake made. I can always put a piece over this or put a sequin there. A mistake is only an excuse for an embellishment. So, and don't forget to put your logo on the back, your Hallmark seal, so that people will know that you hand stamped that. And then on the envelope, I am just going to put a little bitty star that is in with this. There's a star there, but there's one up here that I'm going to put in the corner of my envelope, just so it's not totally naked. So I'm just going to stamp that right there. And I did it again. Okay, this goes to show you, you got to watch and pay attention. If you get a line across there, you need to take your finger and wipe it off. So, everything doesn't always go according to plan. But anyway, I am going to take my Wink of Stella that's here somewhere and just color that in a little bit. And there you have it. So, today's card, like I said, this is a very simple card to do. I hope I'm going to be whipping out about 150 of these right after the holidays. So, oops, and there went a sequence. So be sure you mash those down real good. Oh dear, this is going to be one of those days. Okay, so if you decide, you can use the Tombow glue. But anyway, I've had a good time with you today. I hope you can see that I'm not perfect. Sometimes I make mistakes too, but it's all in fun and it's homemade, handmade, and whoever is the recipient of the card is going to love it. So I just want to wish all of you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy. I hope you're getting some nice weather. We have been having days of what I call top-down weather, blue skies, low humidity, and cool weather. So I think it's going to get warm, but maybe it'll be back for Thanksgiving. But I will be in Colorado next week. I don't know where you're going to be. Let me know. And if you would like to place an order, you can go to my website, stampinlaura.stampinup.net, or my blog is stampinatthebirdnest.com. When it asks for the host code, this is the November host code, and I'll be closing that out probably the last day of the month. So, I hope all of you, let's see if I can get myself back from, now last week I did this, and this week it doesn't seem to be wanting to rotate. So let me see if that'll do it. Nope. Okay, that's not working. So anyway, I'm gonna blow kisses and tell you I love you and happy Thanksgiving upside down. Mwah! Love you. See you in 2 weeks.